Because you got off the hook. You got off the hook so much, I've forgotten your name. What was your name again, sorry? Hannah, can you be our mascot for tonight? I think you've got the energy for it. Okay, so it's very simple. All you have to do is very quietly clap. This side is going to go crazy. We're going to bring it over to this side, and then we're going to bring on our first act, who's awesome, Smith Hill. Right, Hannah, let's do that. Okay, perfect. This side, bring it up. Over to this side, Trusty Mental.
Every time. I'm just going to put this drink down. I've got a really bad cough, so apologies if I don't get through this set without coughing. Thanks for that apathetic round of applause. That was lovely. You may know me as the person who's helped you out with most of your fucking chairs this evening. I've got to be honest, I wasn't expecting that when I came tonight, especially a few latecomers. No, it's fine. I should tell you something before I go on. As well as doing stand-up, I'm also a medium, and sometimes messages come through. What? And I have to act, and I've had one come through tonight, which could have a bearing. And what my spirit guide has told me is that in this area of the room, I may need, what was it? I may need to turn the volume up, and it's hovering above your head, sir, the Hollister man. And it's telling me, are you hard of hearing? Slightly. No. Fucking liar, because I heard you when you came in. You said I got a problem with my right ear. Well, you fucked that up, couldn't you? Yeah. And I love how the majority of you congregated to the back row straight away. You two especially. When you was like, no way are we sitting on the front row because we'll get picked on. Was that you? And it just goes through, it doesn't matter where you sit, to be honest, but just as a word of advice, when you do come into a gig, just look where the comedians are stood. Just watch what you say, because we do pick up on a lot of things, and that's brilliant. So I've travelled down from Gloucester tonight, and I've got to be honest, I thought Gloucester was weird, but I like to do some research, and because I've been to Trowbridge. I think the last time I came to Trowbridge was back in the 80s. Jesus Christ, it's changed, hasn't it? And I'd sort of forgotten what it was like, and I had a look, and what a fantastic town initially for the clothing industry and woolen and everything else. You've got 6 listed buildings, and I thought, oh, this is great. I'm really looking forward to this. And then I looked at your crime stats. Second most dangerous medium-sized town in the whole of Wiltshire. Yeah, with the crime rate 46.8% higher. But yes, 88 crimes per 1,000 people. So by the law of averages, I reckon 8 people on the back row are going to go out and mug somebody. But I was looking forward to coming. And then I found this, and this is the source of this is, and I'll do it in the voice of what I think the person who wrote it meant. The source is, I live here, Trowbridge, the root of all evil. The small town of Trowbridge is not peaceful, picturesque, or the centre of happiness. It is riddled with idiots of all disciplines and should be avoided at all costs. If you want to inflict pain on someone, suggest a shopping trip or a night out. They are guaranteed to be beaten up. I don't agree with this next bit. Well, the residents are painfully ugly, overweight, and wear copious amounts of jewellery and makeup to disguise their lack of fashion awareness. The people are sickening and one of a kind. I would advise any production company to film a documentary there. It is the closest thing to apes you will find living in a house. And that was written by the town crier Trevor Weeks. But you seem lovely. You seem really nice and grounded. Because not every gig's like it. I did a gig in Cirencester before Christmas, a place called Ashton Keynes. And I just went on, I thought, it's lovely to be here in Ashton Keynes. And this lady from the back put her hand up and said, excuse me, young man. Thanks. I know it's spelled Keynes, Keynes, but here in the village, we prefer to pronounce it Keynes. I hope you don't mind. I said, no, that's absolutely fine. Doesn't make you sound a bit of a pretentious cunt. In my village, we spell that C-A-N-T, but I prefer to pronounce it. So I've been doing comedy 30 years this year, and it feels like it. And I've got to be honest, I had aspirations when I started. I thought, oh, maybe one day live at the Apollo, and then here I am in Trowbridge on Thursday night. But I'm happy to share this with you tonight. Well, today actually, I got an email to confirm a gig next week at the O2. Ooh. Shop in Gloucester. For their Star Christmas party, there's going to be about 3 people there, but hey, gig's a gig. I had a cracking year in 2022. I went to the Leicester Comedy Festival and I won the Silver Stand-Up of the Year award, which was, normally people cheer at that point, but fuck you. It was a competition aimed at the over 55s, all right? That was it, that was the qualifying criteria. No upper age limit. So backstage, a little bit like tonight, God's waiting room for comedians. One act, just before he was going to go on, he was in a chair, eyes closed, and somebody said, "Do you think he's alright? Is he asleep or dead?" I don't know. Well, do you think we should wake him? I said, no, leave him. Just increase our chances. I went on, got through to the final, did my 5 minutes, and I won, and it was brilliant. And I phoned home, spoke to my wife, I said, you'll never guess, after 4 years of trying, I've only gone and won. And she's like, oh, that's fantastic. What have you won? Because obviously she is from Mumbai. I said, I've won a trophy. All right. Anything else? No, just a trophy. And I'm back home a couple of hours later, and I'm showing her the trophy. So that's lovely, but I'll ask you again. Was there anything else? I said, no, just this. And she said, what about the £500 cash prize they advertised on the website? Well, I was gutted because I had that lined up for a special occasion. And she's like, what have I told you all through our marriage? I don't know, there's been so many things it's hard to remember to me. She said, you should never lie. And she's right. Of course she's right. You should never lie. But she went on a cruise last April for a week, and she phoned me on the Wednesday. All right? I said, yeah, I'm fine, thanks, yeah. Are you missing me? I remember what she said, so it was like, no. She started clutching at straws. Well, I bet the dog's missing me. He wasn't, he was loving life. He was sleeping on my bed, I was feeding from the table, we were down the pub, we went and got tattoos, well I did. And it got to about Thursday and he sat there, and I know he can't speak, but I could read his mind. He just sat there looking at me and he was like, oh Dad, this is fantastic, isn't it, just you and me? Mm-hmm. Do you think we can move and just not tell us? No, we can't do that. We've done Dry January. Yeah, still drank, just no sex. It was her fault. Before Christmas, she said, "Oh, we've been married so long. Don't worry about getting me a Christmas present." So I didn't. What? She didn't think, should she? She's not, I've got to be honest, she's not a happy woman in general, because it was her birthday today, and I got her a spa day. Apparently she hates grocery shopping. But we, the competition in 2022 was just after Valentine's Day, and we celebrated Valentine's Day last year, and I did the romantic thing. I from the florist. I'd like to order some flowers for my wife. She said, would you like a card? I said, yes, please. She said, what do you want written on the card? Oh, I just put to Lynn, all my love, Nick. And then she said, would you like a kiss on the bottom? I was like, yeah. I could be there in 20 minutes. She's like, no, I meant on the bottom of the card. I said, I know. I'm a comedian, I was just making a joke. And quick as a flash, she came back with, I bet you don't get many gigs. But we celebrated Valentine's Day at home, and we were sat there just having a meal. And they said, can you remember how we met? Yeah, vaguely. So, well, if you remember, you had an advert in the Lonely Hearts column. In fact, you had 2. But I only replied to 1. Did you? What was that? Well, in your second one, you put your height. I didn't know she had an issue with my height. I should have realised. It's about a week after we got together. I said, how do you fancy going to Alton Towers for the day? And she was like, not much point you going, is there? £32, you'll only be allowed on 3 rides. And then when we were married, I came home and she said, can I ask you a question? Yeah, what is it? She said, how do you feel about being only 9 inches taller than the largest emperor penguin ever recorded? She Googled it. If that wasn't bad enough, she worked in a school at the time, and I used to go in and have coffee with her now and again. And I went in this one day, when she was in a meeting or something, and one of her friends took me to staff room. She said, do you want coffee? Yeah, I want coffee. Do you want a biscuit? Yeah, I want a biscuit. Why don't you pick a penguin? And she bloody told them all, they all knew. She does moan a lot, I've got to be honest. She moans there's a lack of romance in our relationship. What do you mean? She said, well, maybe when we're being intimate, it would be nice just to have some music playing in the background, just to break the silence. So, okay, that's fair enough. So I recorded a couple of tracks, put the first one on, Angels by Robbie Williams. I thought, well, that's thereabouts. I've got to be honest, I think my choice of song number 2 probably killed the mood a little bit. Angels, not Angels, we've done that one. The theme from Match of the Day. But what sort of cemented how our romantic relationship is we were watching a film, and it was an American prison film, and in it our hero was going to smuggle drugs into the prison by wrapping them in cellophane and then shoving them up his bum. And we were sat watching the film, and she thought, look at that, it's bloody ridiculous. What is? Well, what he's doing there. Is it? What was that? She said, well, we know how hard it is to get something up there, don't we? Right? And I looked at her and I said, do we? And she went, oh no, it wasn't you. I retired last year in 2023, so that was a bit of a turning point. So I've now spent 24/7 with her. And we've just got to that stage. Is there any other sort of retired people in the room? How are you finding it?
Yeah, it's fine.
It's all right.
Yeah.
What about, are you answering for him, or is it? You don't. Are you okay with it? Are you retired?
No.
You don't. I was going to say you don't look young enough to be retired. You don't look young enough either. Shit, I realised what hole I was going to fall in there. But yeah, 24/7, and we've just got to that stage, you know, that sort of irritating stage. There's nothing major. Breathing. And if we're out in the car, we'll be coming up to a junction, and I want to turn right. I'm saying, is it okay to turn right? She goes, yeah. And as I'm pulling out, if you're quick. I've got to be honest, that joke normally gets a far better response. But the other thing I find we're doing an awful lot of is spending time at the local garden centre. We used to go maybe like once, twice a month. Seems every other day now. Like, I've got a loyalty card with them. And I went last August, and I went to buy a coffee, and then she took the money and she said, oh, congratulations. Sorry? Well, it's your birthday today, isn't it? Why did you know that? Well, it's come up because you've got a loyalty card, it's got your date of birth, so it's your birthday. That's good news, isn't it? I said, not at this fucking age, isn't it? No, I've got no, not really. I said, well, it is good news because you now qualify for one of our senior citizens discount. Great. So then what benefit is that to me? And no word of a lie, she reached across the counter, she patted my stomach and said, you get 40% off a roast lunch. So much someone else paid for this car. I said, oh, they're free, right, I'll have it. So I took the car. We sat down having a coffee, and I'm just looking at the terms and conditions. And it was right, you do get 40% off a roast lunch. Served every Monday between 9:30 and 11:15. And I thought, who the fuck eats a roast lunch on a Monday between 9:30 and 11:15? But since last August, I have been. I've made a couple of, well, I've made one sort of resolution this year. I need to try and sort of be a little less angry, but you know, certain things irritate me. And what sort of sparked it? I was having a discussion with one of my stepdaughters at Christmas, and I inadvertently used the word Eskimo because it's just a name that I've grown up with. I was born in '58, so it's just a name I've grown up with. She went off on one and said, that is so racist, so discriminatory, but you wouldn't know anything about discrimination because you've never been discriminated against. I said, right, hang on, let me tell you something. I applied for a gig in Bristol last year. It said acts wanted, particularly those of LGBT or POC persuasion, and I phoned up, so I'm interested in the gig. They said, are you LGBT? I went, no. They said, are you a POC? I went, yes, I am. They said, what colour are you? I said, ginger. He put the phone down. I did suffer as a kid, being ginger. The name calling, predominantly. Ginger nut, carrot top, Duracell, you little ginger wanker. And I remember saying, Dad, just leave it out. I was thinking of my dad the other day, because I was watching something on YouTube, and there'll be a certain demographic in the room who will get this. On a Saturday afternoon, there used to be World of Sport, and they used to have wrestling on, and it was proper wrestling, not like crap you get today, with real characters. And afterwards, me and Dad, and I'd been about 6 or 7, we used to have a pretend wrestle, and I'd try and pin his shoulders down for the count of 3. And at the last minute, he'd always pop his shoulder up, and I think in his own way, he was trying to teach me a life lesson, and that being, no matter how hard something is, if you persevere long enough, when you achieve your goal, the feeling you get will be brilliant. And he was right, because I can remember that time I managed to pin his shoulders down for the count of 3. It was like, oh, it was just brilliant. He was 85 in the care home at the time. And it wasn't just my father. I came home, and I was thinking about it today, January 1964. We'd just gone back to school after the Christmas break. And I come home, went into the kitchen, and Mum was there. I said, Mum, can I ask you a question? She said, what is it? I said, well, all the other little boys in my class were talking about the presents they had Christmas Day. She went, and? So, I didn't get any presents, did I? And she went, no. And there's a very good reason for that. What is it? And she looked at me straight in the eye. I was 6. She looked at me straight in the eye and just said, Santa don't stop for ginger kids. That's fine, shouldn't it? To be fair, I've got 2 ginger kids. Never spent anything on them at Christmas. It's been brilliant. I'll just leave you with this, because this bit always chokes me, but my mum died in 2019, and it's just, you know, it's just one of those things about getting older. You got to face up to facts. So I know I'm getting older now, and I'm certainly attending a lot more funerals than I ever used to. And it's just got to that stage, and you hear people talking, and it's always, you know, it's how we would have wanted to go. And I don't want people saying about that about me. How do they know how I want to go? I don't want to die in the middle of Tesco shopping. I don't want to die if I'm out driving in the car. You know, I just want to be in bed at home. And the last thing I want to do is to die during sex, because if my wife found out, she'd fucking kill me. My mum did die in 2019, and she had dementia. It wasn't actually the dementia that killed her, but it certainly contributed towards it. And she'd never seen me do stand up. She said, "Will you mention me at every gig?" Okay. So yeah, okay, fine, I'll do that. And when I got to 50, I was all right at 50, because what happens at 50 for you young ones is, through the post you get free life assurance, right? That's fine, I could deal with that. At 60, that all changes. Funeral plans. You get swamped with funeral plans, right? Mum had a funeral plan with the co-op, and when she died, I had to go in and sort it out. And I went in, sat down and said, "Oh, Nick, how do you think your son? I'll come to talk about a funeral plan." "Oh, right, yeah, I've seen it. How old did you say you are?" I was like, I'm 63, what's that got to do with it? "Well, have you got a funeral plan?" I went, "No." "You should, because, you know, you could go any time now." I said, "Well, what does it entail?" She said, "Well, basically, if you pay us £2,000 now, you can plan the whole thing. You know, you could be buried or cremated. You can put some money behind the bar. You could choose the food. You could tell people what they want to wear. You could have a disco, a band, whatever you want. You could have." And we had a 10-minute chat. And I've got to be honest, at the end of the 10 minutes, I was looking forward to my own death. It was like, this is ridiculous. But I'm sure there's going to be people in this room that will either know somebody who's got dementia or might have family with it. And if you don't know and you've not experienced it, there's certain traits that dementia sufferers have. They get paranoid, they tend to lose things, and they can wander. Right? Those are the three main traits. And Mum had all three. She thought people were living in a loft. She was forever losing her keys or her bank cards. But she wasn't, she was just hiding because she thought the people in the loft were going to nick her. And on the 13th of September 2019, she wandered for the last time. And I got a phone call from one of her neighbours saying, "Your mum's gone walkabout again." And we weren't able to stop her. I was at a party, I phoned the police. To be fair, the Gloucester police were brilliant. They picked her up within 20 minutes, took her to Gloucester Hospital. I went to see her. She was totally confused, didn't know why she was there, didn't even know where she was, and they kept her in. On the Monday, I got a phone call, and what happens in that situation is the police assign a safeguarding officer, and I got a call saying, "I'm P.C. Davis, I'm your mum's safeguarding officer. Can you meet me in the hospital because I need to check she's alright?" I said, "No, that's fine." So I met her at Gloucester Hospital on the Monday, about 6 o'clock in the evening, September. And we're walking up to the ward. I said, "How long have you been in the police?" He said, "20 years." I said, "How long have you been assigned to this particular job?" He said, "Only about 3 or 4 weeks." I said, "Okay, word of advice, don't believe a fucking word she says." We get up to the ward, she's in the first bed here, and there's about another 5 ladies, and they've all got their families round, and it's getting dusk, and the atmosphere is quite subdued, just like this. And they're all chatting, and I go in, "All right, ma'am, who's that?" I said, "Oh, this is P.C. Davis." "All right. Has he come to arrest me?" I said, "No, he's not come to arrest you." "Okay. Are you going to arrest Nicholas?" And this policeman was like, "No, Jean, I'm not. Why would I arrest Nicholas?" "Well, he's only just come out of prison." And he turned to look at me, he said, "Have you?" I said, "No." Remember what I said? Because of course he murdered his brother. And I'm like, "No, Mum, that didn't happen, did it? If you remember, Tim died in 2009. He was really young, he had ischemic heart disease. Can you remember that?" Well, you would say that. The other people in the room, they were all listening to see what she was going to say next. About 5 minutes went past, she hadn't said anything, and then she came out with a classic, "And of course he let me have sex with me before we were married." This woman across the road, that is disgusting. I said, "Look, that didn't happen, did it? She's ill, she doesn't know what she said." I grabbed this bell and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I just can't do this anymore, we've got to go." He said, "No, that's fine." And as we're walking out, and I don't know to this day whether she knew what she was doing or not, but under her breath, but loud enough for him to hear, she just went, "It's that poor dog I feel sorry for." And we got outside, and I said, "Look, I'm sorry you had to experience that." He went, "No, that's fine, I can see she's obviously been suffering, but I do need to ask you a question." "Well, I haven't been in prison." He went, "No, not that, not that. Have you got a dog?" Well, as it happened, yeah, we have. And he was like, "Oh, right, so that bit was true, was it?" Again, that story normally goes down far better. Listen, this has been a delight. I'm so glad I've come to Trowbridge, and thanks very much for coming out on a Thursday night. Please keep supporting this kid. My name's Nick Hill. Good night.
That is your first section. Go get ready.